I'm holding my wife's positive pregnancy test when I realize we've been trying for 3 years, but she's only been sleeping with him for 4 months. The bathroom light is too bright, white plastic, 2 pink lines sharp as knives. The test smells faintly of the hospital's antiseptic soap from her purse. Sarah's in the kitchen making celebratory pancakes. I can hear her humming. She hums when she's happy. I should be happy too. I try to do the math in my head, but the numbers won't cooperate. We've been trying since 2022, 3 years of scheduled intimacy, fertility tracking, disappointing doctor visits. Last month, they told us to consider IVF. Sarah cried in the parking lot for 20 minutes, and now this. I walk into the kitchen. She turns, spatula in hand, face glowing. "Can you believe it?" she says. "Finally, after everything." "When did you take this?" "This morning. I've been feeling weird for a few days, so I just..." She stops, studies my face. "What's wrong? You look pale." I set the test on the counter between us. "When was your last period?" Mid-June. "Why are you..." "The doctor said 16 weeks is when you can usually detect pregnancy. That means conception would have been around..." "Stop." Her smile falters. "What are you doing?" "Mid-June was 14 weeks ago. That puts conception around late June, early July." She turns back to the stove, flips a pancake that doesn't need flipping. Math isn't perfect with these things. You know that. I do know that. What I also know is that I'd been in Seattle for a work conference the last week of June. Portland the first week of July. I have hotel receipts, boarding passes, a desk calendar full of crossed-out dates. And that's when I remember. We haven't had sex in 6 weeks. I'm sitting at my desk now, staring at that calendar. Black leather desk calendar, corners worn, every business trip marked in blue ink. Seattle, June, 24-29. Portland, July, Warrens to 6. Chicago, July 10th to 14. Phoenix is start, July 18th, 22. Sarah's upstairs, still humming. The pancakes are cold on the counter. I couldn't eat them. Food tastes like cardboard right now. My best friend Mike answers on the second ring. "Dude, it's 7 in the morning. She's pregnant." Pause. That's great, man. You guys have been trying forever. 16 weeks. Okay. Mike, I was gone for 12 of those weeks. You covered my client meetings, remember? You joked that I was living in airports. Longer pause. I can hear his dog barking in the background. Normal morning sounds from a normal life. "Are you sure about the timeline?" he finally asks. I tell him about the pancakes, the humming, the way her face looked when she turned around with that spatula. Happy, genuinely happy. The kind of happy I haven't seen in months, maybe years. "Maybe the doctor got the date wrong," Mike offers, but his voice has that careful quality, like he's handling explosives. Maybe. I'm staring at the calendar, but the real clue isn't on my calendar. It's on hers. I find it in her home office. Her desk is always neater than mine. Everything color-coded, alphabetized. There's a framed photo of us from our wedding. We look young, happy, real. Her calendar is pink leather, expensive, a gift from her mother last Christmas. I flip back to June, then July. There are small dots on certain days, 5 days in June, 6 in July. I've seen these before but never questioned them, thought they were work deadlines or appointments. But now I'm looking closer. The dots are on days when I was traveling, not all the days, just specific ones. And next to some of them, tiny initials. So small I need to squint. DM. I don't know anyone with those initials. I flip forward to August. More dots, more initials, and then something else. A small heart drawn on July 15th. My stomach turns. My phone buzzes. Text from Sarah. "Come back to bed? Want to celebrate properly?" The emoji has a halo. She uses that one when she's feeling affectionate, when she wants me to know she loves me. I sit there holding her calendar, this evidence of something I don't want to be evidence, and I think, the doctor said she was 16 weeks along. I've been traveling for work for 12 of those weeks, but that still leaves 4 weeks unaccounted for. I spend the next 2 hours going through her phone. She left it charging in the bathroom, something she never does. Usually it's attached to her hand like a vital organ. I know her passcode. We've always had an open phone policy. Nothing to hide was our thing. I feel sick doing this, but I can't stop. My hands are shaking as I open her messages. Most of it is normal. Group chats with her work friends, texts to her mom about the pregnancy. Wait, I scroll back up. She told her mom 3 days ago, before she told me, before the pancakes and the humming. Mom, are you sure about the timing? Zara, doctor confirmed, 16 weeks. It's happening. Mom, and he doesn't suspect? Sarah, he's been so busy with work. He barely notices anything anymore. I read it again, then again. The words don't change. I keep scrolling. Find a contact saved as personal training. I don't remember Sarah hiring a personal trainer. I open it. The messages go back 4 months. At first, they're innocuous. Great session today. Can't wait for next week. But then they shift. Get more familiar. Photos from what looks like a vacation house. Glasses of wine on a deck overlooking water. A sunset. 2 shadows holding hands. There's a business card tucked in her wallet. I find it behind my photo, my own face staring back at me from the plastic window, and behind it, embossed lettering. Derek Mitchell, investment consultant. The card smells like her perfume and someone else's cologne. One corner is bent like it's been held too tight, too many times. I take pictures of everything. The calendar, the texts, the business card. My phone storage fills up with evidence of a marriage ending. And then I find the photos from networking events. Sarah in a black dress I've never seen, standing next to a man in a suit. He's tall, handsome, confident smile. They're at some kind of charity gala. Her hand is on his arm. The photo is dated June 22nd, 2 days before my Seattle trip. I scroll through more photos, different events, same man, July 3rd during my Portland conference, July 12th, Chicago, July 20th, Phoenix. Every time I was gone, she was with him. But here's what makes my blood run cold. In one photo, I can see the background. It's my mother-in-law's vacation house, the one she inherited from her parents. The distinctive stone fireplace is visible behind them. I've been to that house dozens of times for family gatherings. My mother-in-law didn't just introduce them, she gave them keys to her vacation house. The confrontation happens at 10 o'clock at night. Sarah's in our bedroom, scrolling through baby name websites on her laptop. She's excited, making lists, talking about nursery colors. I'm standing in the doorway with my phone in my hand. I've been standing here for 3 minutes, watching her plan a future for a child that isn't mine. She hasn't noticed me yet. She's too absorbed in her fantasy. Sarah. She looks up, smiles. That hello emoji smile. Hey, I was thinking about names. If it's a boy, maybe, who's Derek Mitchell? The smile dies. The laptop screen casts a blue glow on her face. She looks pale suddenly. Young. Caught. What? I hold up my phone. Show her the screenshot of personal training. How did you left your phone in the bathroom. 4 months of messages, Sarah. 4 months of lies. She closes the laptop, stands up. Her hands are shaking now. It's not what you think. What do I think? My voice is calm, too calm. I recognize this feeling, the cold, controlled fury that comes before an explosion. Explain it to me. We met at Mom's fundraiser. He's an investment consultant. We just talked and your mom gave you keys to her vacation house. There are photos of you together there, 11 separate weekends. Her face crumbles. How did you? I'm not stupid, Sarah. I'm just slow. Apparently. I'm scrolling through more screenshots now. Here's a good one. He's at another work conference. We have all weekend. That was July 23rd. I was in Phoenix, closing the biggest deal of my career. You were texting him about how I was too busy to notice you were fucking someone else. Don't say it like that. Like what? Like the truth? I step into the room. She backs up toward the bed. When did it start? The truth this time. April, she whispers. We met in April. And the pregnancy? Silence. Long, damning silence. Sarah, when did you know? 2 weeks ago. Her voice breaks. I took 3 tests before the one I showed you. I was trying to figure out how to tell you. Figure out how to lie to me, you mean? My phone is slick with sweat in my palm. Does he know? She doesn't answer. She doesn't have to. Her face tells me everything. It just happened, she finally says. I didn't plan. I laugh. It's not a happy sound. You didn't plan it? You tracked your ovulation. I saw the dots on your calendar. You scheduled this around my work trips. You took prenatal vitamins? What? I walk to her dresser, open the bottom drawer, pull out her gym bag, the one she takes to yoga class every Tuesday. Buried under sports bras and leggings is a bottle of prenatal vitamins. I shake it. The pills rattle. Purchased June 18th, 2 months before this accident. The receipt's still in the bag. Her knees give out. She sits on the edge of the bed, staring at the vitamin bottle in my hand like it's a grenade. Sarah, she said it just happened, but I had receipts going back 4 months. I don't sleep. Can't sleep. I'm in my car at 6 a.m., parked outside my mother-in-law's house. It's a nice house in a nice neighborhood. White columns, black shutters, perfectly manicured lawn. The kind of house that says everything here is under control. I ring the doorbell. She answers in a silk robe, coffee mug in hand. She looks confused to see me. David, what are you doing here so early? We need to talk about Derek Mitchell. Her face doesn't change, but her grip on the coffee mug tightens. Come in. The house smells like vanilla and lies. She leads me to her study, the one she uses for her charity work. Her desk is mahogany, expensive, organized like Sarah's. I wonder if Sarah learned it from her, or if it's genetic. Where's Tom? I ask. Her husband, Sarah's father. Golf. He leaves at dawn on Sundays. She sits behind her desk. Power position. What's this about? You introduced my wife to her affair partner. Then you gave them access to your vacation house so they could... I can't finish the sentence. Why? David! And don't lie to me. I've had enough lies to last a lifetime. She's quiet for a long moment. Then she opens her desk drawer, pulls out a yellow legal pad, sets it on the desk between us. Blue ink, her handwriting, sharp and certain. Lists, categories, names. What is this? Candidates, she says simply. I lean forward. The page is divided into columns: physical traits, education, career, financial stability, and there, halfway down the page, circled 3 times. Derek Mitchell, 6'2", MBA from Stanford, investment consultant, $285K annual, symmetrical features, good genetics. Below it, crossed out in red ink, David Chen, 5'9", BA liberal arts, marketing manager, $78K annual, average health, adequate provider. I stare at the page. Stare at my own name reduced to bullet points and crossed out like a failed grocery list. You rated me, I say. My voice sounds far away. You rated me like I'm a product. Sarah deserves the best, she says. Her voice is matter of fact, clinical. She's my only daughter. When you two couldn't conceive, I did research, found someone more suitable, someone who could give her what she needs. What she needs or what you want? Both. She takes a sip of coffee, calm, collected. Derek is intelligent, successful, healthy. His family has no history of genetic disease. He's achieved more at 35 than you have at 38. Sarah would have beautiful, intelligent children with him. The words hit me like physical blows. Beautiful, intelligent, better than mine. Does Tom know about this? She hesitates. Tom understands that sometimes sacrifices must be made for family. Sacrifices? You're calling my marriage a sacrifice. I'm calling it progress, she says. She looks me in the eye, really looks at me, and I see no guilt there, no remorse. just cold calculation. Sarah was unhappy, David. You work too much. You're never home. She needs someone who can provide, not just financially, but genetically. Someone who can give her children that won't struggle like what? Like you've struggled with your career, with your health, with your family history of, stop. I'm on my feet now. The legal pad is in my hand. You investigated me. You made a spreadsheet of my deficiencies, and then you found someone to replace me like I'm a broken appliance. I found someone to supplement what you couldn't provide. A baby. You mean a baby? She nods. And now Sarah has one. You should be grateful. You can raise it as your own. No one has to know. You get to be a father. She gets the child she's always wanted, and everyone wins. I look at this woman I've called mom for 5 years, who baked me birthday cakes and invited me to family dinners and hugged me at our wedding, and I don't recognize her. She looked me in the eye and said he would have given her better children. The lawyer's office smells like leather and old paper. Richard Chen, no relation, is younger than I expected. Early 40s, crisp suit, wedding ring, family photo on his desk. 2 kids smiling, a real family. Talk me through it, he says. I spread everything out on his conference table, the calendar, the texts, the photos, the business card, the prenatal vitamins, the legal pad with my name crossed out in red ink. He goes through it methodically, picks up each piece of evidence, examines it, sets it down. His face doesn't change, but I can see his jaw tighten when he reads the texts. When he sees the legal pad, he lets out a low whistle. This is premeditated, he says. What does that mean legally? It means this wasn't an affair. It was a plan. Conspiracy, if you want to get technical. He looks up at me. Your mother-in-law orchestrated this. She screened candidates, selected one, facilitated the relationship, provided resources. She's complicit. Can I sue her? We'll get to that. First things first. He pulls out a legal pad of his own, irony not lost on me. Does your wife know you're here? She knows I left. I've been staying at Mike's for 2 days. Good. Don't go back to the house alone. Everything from here on out is documented. He writes something down. Do you have any recordings, audio, video? The last conversation. I recorded it on my phone. Is recording legal in your state without consent? One-party consent state. I checked. He nods. Smart. What about financial records, bank statements, credit cards? I pull out another folder. She used our joint credit card for hotels, dinners, weekend trips. I have 6 months of statements. The vacation house weekends alone total about $4,200. In expenses you paid for. In expenses I paid for. He's making notes now, fast. Okay, here's what we're looking at. Divorce on grounds of adultery, which in this state still matters for asset division, possible civil suit against the mother-in-law for intentional interference with marital relations. And, this is important, you need a paternity test. Immediately. The baby's not mine. I believe you, but we need proof. Legal, documented, undeniable proof. He looks at me over his reading glasses. Because right now, if your wife gives birth while you're still married, you're legally presumed to be the father. Your name goes on the birth certificate. You're liable for child support, even if the DNA proves it's not yours. We need to move fast. The room tilts slightly. Child support. For another man's baby. How fast? I'll file the initial paperwork this week. Petition for legal separation, request for paternity testing, temporary restraining order if needed. Restraining order? To prevent her from making any financial decisions without your knowledge. Emptying bank accounts, taking out loans in your name, selling assets. It happens more than you'd think. He sees my face. I know this feels extreme, but you're not dealing with a normal divorce. You're dealing with someone who planned this. Multiple someones. We need to be more prepared than they are. He said 3 words that changed everything. Paternity test. Now. The DNA test kit arrives in a plain white box. No branding, no labels. Just a return address in Maryland and a tracking number I've checked obsessively for 3 days. I'm sitting in my car outside our house. My house, the lawyer keeps correcting me. It's mine. The mortgage is in my name. But it doesn't feel like mine anymore. Nothing does. The envelope is sealed, medical-grade paper, thick and official, lab logo stamped in blue across the top. I can see Sarah through the kitchen window. She's talking on the phone, laughing. Her hand rests on her stomach, protective, maternal. She's started wearing maternity clothes even though she's barely showing. I tear open the envelope. The first page is technical jargon, genetic markers, allele patterns, statistical analysis. I skip to the bottom. Probability of paternity, 0.0%, 0.0%. I read it again, then again. The numbers don't change. Below them, there's a note in smaller print. Sample B submitted for comparison shows 99.97% probability of biological paternity. Please contact lab if additional testing required. Sample B. Sarah submitted his DNA too. She actually thought, my phone rings. Mike. Did you get it? I can't speak. My throat is closed up. The paper crinkles in my hand. David? 0%, I finally manage. It's official, not mine. Jesus, I'm sorry, man. There's a note. She submitted his DNA, the affair partners. She was so sure. I have to start again. She tested both of us, Mike, like a paternity quiz, and she was banking on his matching so she could, what? Prove to me it was mine? Prove to herself? That's insane. No, it's calculated. I'm staring at the lab report, at the cold, clinical language that ends a marriage. She planned this down to the genetics. Through the kitchen window, Sarah turns, sees my car, waves. I don't wave back. I just sit there holding proof that my wife is carrying another man's child, and I realize something. Grief isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just heavy. I find the nursery half finished when I go back inside to pack more clothes. I have been avoiding this room for a week. It used to be my home office. Desk, bookshelves, a window that gets good afternoon light. Now there's a partially assembled crib in the center of the room, clouds painted on the ceiling, a mobile with little elephants hanging still, waiting for a child that will never be mine. The instruction manual is still on the floor, glossy paper with my pencil notes in the margins. Extra screw here. Ask Dad for help with the mattress support. And at the bottom, in my handwriting from 3 weeks ago, can't wait to meet you, kiddo. The last line is smudged. I don't remember crying when I wrote it, but the evidence is there. Water damage on cheap paper. Hope dissolved by tears I didn't know I was crying. I sit on the floor next to the half-built crib and let myself break. It's not loud. No sobbing, no dramatic collapse. Just silent tears running down my face in that empty room with its cheerful clouds and its elephants frozen mid-swing. I would have loved this child. Would have taught them to ride a bike, helped with homework, been there for every school play and soccer game and birthday party. But I can't be their father just because their mother needs me to be. They deserve better than that. And so do I. My phone buzzes. Text from my mom. Can we talk? Heard from Sarah's family. I wipe my face. Text back. Coming over. Before I leave, I take one last look at the room, at the clouds and the crib and the smudged instruction manual. This is what loss looks like. A room prepared for a future that will never happen. Dear kid, I think. I'm sorry your mom made choices that hurt us both. I would have loved you, but I can't be your father just because she needs me to be. You deserve better than that, and so do I. My mother opens the door before I can knock. She's been crying. I can tell by her eyes. My dad is standing behind her in the hallway, hands in his pockets, looking like he wants to punch something. Come in, baby, Mom says. Their house smells like jasmine tea and stability. I've been coming here my whole life for comfort. This time feels different. This time, I'm not a kid with a scraped knee. I'm a grown man with a broken marriage and a paternity test in my jacket pocket. We sit in the living room. Mom pours tea. Dad stays standing, nervous energy radiating off him. Sarah's mother called, Mom finally says. She wants to meet, all of us together, says it's about family. Family, I laugh. It's a bitter sound. Did she mention the part where she orchestrated my wife's affair? She said there were misunderstandings, that Sarah made mistakes, but you're overreacting. Mom's voice is tight, controlled. I told her exactly what I thought of that. What did you say? I told her that her daughter is carrying another man's child and trying to pass it off as yours. And if she thinks that's a misunderstanding, she can go straight to hell. Mom never swears. The word sounds foreign in her mouth. Then she said you're being cruel, that you're punishing an innocent baby. The baby is innocent. Sarah isn't. Dad finally sits. What do you need from us? My voice cracks. Just don't ask me to forgive this. Everyone's going to ask me to forgive this, for the baby's sake, for the family's sake, for whatever's sake, and I can't. Mom reaches across the table, takes my hand. Baby, loving someone doesn't mean letting them destroy you. You can grieve the wife you thought you had, and still leave the one you actually got. I lose it then, really lose it. My mother holds me while I cry, 38 years old and sobbing in my childhood living room, because my wife planned a pregnancy with another man, and everyone expects me to smile and raise the evidence. You're allowed to be angry, Dad says quietly. You're allowed to walk away. Don't let anyone tell you different. If you've ever felt that moment when the people who raised you prove they'll always choose you, even when the whole world says you're wrong, leave a comment. Sometimes blood family is the only family that matters. The family meeting happens 3 days later at Sarah's parents' house. I bring my lawyer. They don't expect that. There are 8 people in the living room when we arrive. Sarah's parents, her sister Rachel and brother-in-law, her aunt and uncle, some cousin I've met twice. Sarah sits in the center like a defendant, hands folded over her stomach. Protective, performative. My parents sit on either side of me. Richard, my lawyer, sits to my right with a leather folder full of evidence. Sarah's father, Tom, clears his throat. Thank you for coming, David. We wanted to discuss. Let's cut through this, I say. You want me to stay married to Sarah and raise another man's child. That's why we're here. Uncomfortable silence. Rachel shifts in her seat. It's more complicated than that, Sarah's mother says. Sarah made a mistake, but the child is innocent, and you took vows, for better or worse. Adultery voids those vows. Pretty sure that's biblical too, if we're going that route. David, Sarah's voice is small, broken. She's playing the victim well. I know I hurt you, but I love you. I want to make this work for our family. Our family? I pull out the DNA test, set it on the coffee table. Probability of paternity, 0%. This isn't our family, Sarah. This is your mistake. Her aunt leans forward. You're punishing an innocent baby? I'm protecting myself from fraud. Fraud? Tom looks confused. Richard opens his folder. Your daughter used marital funds to finance an affair. Hotel rooms, dinners, gifts. $80,200 over 4 months. All charged to joint accounts. That's financial infidelity. Those were business expenses, Sarah says quickly. Business with an investment consultant you were sleeping with? Try again. Richard pulls out another document. Here's where it gets interesting. Your wife began taking prenatal vitamins 2 months before conception. Her calendar shows she was tracking her ovulation cycle and scheduling encounters with Mr. Mitchell during peak fertility windows. This wasn't an accident. This was planned. The room goes silent. Rachel speaks first. Sarah, is that true? Sarah's crying now. Full tears, shaking shoulders. I wanted a baby so badly. And we were struggling, and Mom said Derek had good genetics, and I thought, wait, Rachel stands up. Mom knew. Everyone turns to look at Sarah's mother. She's pale but composed. I introduced them, she says simply. Sarah was unhappy. David works too much. I found someone more suitable. More suitable? Rachel's voice rises. You found someone to knock up your daughter while she was still married? I found someone who could give her what she needs. A baby that's not her husband's? The room erupts. Tom is yelling at his wife. The aunt is defending Sarah. The uncle is trying to mediate. Rachel is staring at her mother like she's never seen her before. I sit there watching my marriage explode in real time. And all I can think is, they knew. At least some of them knew. Rachel grabs her purse. I need to see something. She looks at me. Do you have copies of everything? The texts, the timeline, the calendar? Richard hands her a folder. Keep it. She flips through it. Her face goes from confused to shocked to disgusted. When she gets to the page with the mother's handwritten notes, the candidate list with my name crossed out, she stops. You made a spreadsheet, she says to her mother. You rated your son-in-law and found a replacement like he's a broken appliance. I did what was best for Sarah. You pimped out your daughter, Rachel's shaking. You handed her to a stranger because he had better genetics? What is wrong with you? Rachel, sit down. No. She turns to me. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I swear to God, I didn't know. She looks at Sarah. How could you do this to him? Sarah's still crying. I thought he'd understand. I thought he'd love the baby anyway. Love a baby that's proof you fucked someone else for 4 months? Are you insane? The room explodes again. This time, Rachel's on my side. She's pulling more evidence from the folder, reading texts aloud. The family is fracturing in real time. Sides are forming. Her brother-in-law says, Man, I'd leave too. The aunt says, Marriage is forever. Tom says, Did you really cross out his name? And through it all, Sarah keeps crying, keeps saying she's sorry, keeps touching her stomach, like that will make everyone forget that she planned this, calculated this, chose this. Here's what's going to happen, I say, voice calm, steady. Everyone stops. I'm filing for divorce. I'm requesting full disclosure of all financial records. I'm pursuing a civil suit against, I look at Sarah's mother, against anyone who intentionally interfered with my marriage. The baby will be born, Sarah will raise it, and I'll move on with my life. You can't just abandon, the aunt starts. Not my baby, not my problem, just my boundary. Rule of 3. The second time. They're starting to land differently now. Not with pain, with power. Sarah stands. Please, David, please, I'll do anything. We can go to therapy, Therapy doesn't fix premeditated betrayal, Sarah. But I love you. No, you love that I'm predictable, reliable, the one who always stays. I stand up. My parents stand with me. You love that I was easy to fool, but I'm done being easy. I'm done staying. Rachel walks out with us. In the driveway, she hands me her business card. If you need anything, witnesses, testimony, whatever, call me. She's crying now. You deserved better than my family. So did you, I say. She becomes my first ally in enemy territory. Her sister said I was punishing an innocent baby until she saw the timeline. The social media post goes up 2 days later. Sarah doesn't tag me, but she doesn't have to. Our friends are mutual. Word spreads fast in small circles. It's with a heavy heart that I announce David and I are separating. Pregnancy is a stressful time, and sometimes people show you who they really are. I'm focusing on my health and my baby. Thank you for your support during this difficult time. Within an hour, my phone explodes. Texts from friends, former colleagues, people from church we haven't seen in months. Dude, what happened? Are you okay? Sarah says you abandoned her while she's pregnant? That's cold, man. They're already choosing sides, already writing the narrative. Heartless husband leaves pregnant wife. Simple, clean, wrong. Mike calls. You seeing this? Yeah. You gonna respond? Not yet. I'm staring at my phone, at the comments piling up under her post, heart emojis, prayers, people I thought were friends calling me heartless without knowing a single fact. You have to say something, Mike says. She's controlling the narrative. I know. But what do I say? That my wife cheated? That gets messy. That her mother orchestrated it? That sounds insane. That the baby's not mine? That requires proof, and posting DNA results feels exploitative. So, I sit with it for 6 hours. Let the comments pile up. Let people show me who they are when they don't have all the facts. Then I post one screenshot, just one. It's from Sarah's texts to Derek, dated July 23rd, 10:47 p.m. He's at another work conference. We have all weekend. I told him I had a girls' trip. Caption, context matters. I don't tag her. Don't explain. Just let the screenshot speak. The comments shift within minutes. Wait, what? Oh my God. Is this real? David, I'm so sorry. They called me heartless until I posted one screenshot. Sarah calls at 2 a.m. I'm at Mike's sleeping on his couch, or trying to. The phone lights up the dark room. I answer. You're destroying me. Her voice is raw, hysterical. People are calling me a whore. They're saying I'm a liar. My boss saw the post. David, my boss. You are a liar. How could you post that? How could you humiliate me like that? You posted first, Sarah. You made me the villain. I just provided context. Context? You ruined my life. I ruined your life? That's rich. I'm sitting up now, fully awake. You fucked another man for 4 months, got pregnant on purpose, tried to pass his baby off as mine. Your mother made a spreadsheet rating my genetic worth. And I ruined your life? I made a mistake. Mistakes are accidents. This was a plan. She's crying again. Full sobs. In the background, I can hear someone else. Her mother, probably, coaching her. If you ever love me, Sarah says, you'll delete that post. You'll stop this. You'll come home and we'll figure this out. If you ever loved me. The ultimate manipulation. The final card. I did love you, I say, voice quiet, steady. I loved you enough to spend 3 years trying to give you a baby. Enough to work extra hours so we could afford fertility treatments. Enough to paint clouds on a nursery ceiling and build a crib and plan a future around you. But you know what? That love had conditions. Basic ones. Like honesty. Like fidelity. Like not fucking someone else and trying to pawn off their kid as mine. David, you broke those conditions, Sarah, not me. You don't get to weaponize my love now that you've destroyed it. I'll tell everyone. Tell them what? The truth? Go ahead. I have 4 months of texts, hotel receipts, your mother's handwritten notes, a DNA test. What do you have? Silence. That's what I thought. I'm standing now, pacing Mike's living room. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to have that baby. You're going to raise it with whoever you choose. And I'm going to move on with my life. And if you or your mother or anyone else tries to harass me, sabotage me, or drag my name through the mud, I'll release everything. Every text, every photo, every humiliating detail. Are we clear? More crying. Then, I should have known you'd do this. You never fight for anything. You always give up. You're weak. No, Sarah, I'm done. There's a difference. I hang up. My hands are shaking, but not from fear, from clarity, from finally knowing my answer. She said, if you ever love me, and I finally knew my answer. The deposition is scheduled for August 15th. Sarah's lawyer, some shark named Patricia Thornton, tries to delay 3 times. Richard blocks every attempt. She's pregnant, Patricia argues. Stressful testimony could endanger the baby. She was healthy enough to plan an affair for 4 months, Richard counters. She's healthy enough to sit for 2 hours and answer questions. We win, the deposition proceeds. It's held in a conference room downtown. Sterile, windowless, fluorescent lights that make everyone look sick. There's a court reporter in the corner, fingers poised over her stenography machine. Sarah sits across from me, belly slightly rounded now, hands folded. She won't look at me. Richard spreads evidence across the table like cards in a poker game. The calendar, the texts, the photos, the prenatal vitamin bottle with its receipt dated 2 months before conception, the DNA test, and finally, Sarah's mother's legal pad with its candidate ratings. "Let's start simple," Richard says. "Mrs. Chen, when did your relationship with Derek Mitchell begin?" "April," Sarah whispers. "Speak up, please. The reporter needs to hear you." "April 16th. Louder now. "And when did you first have sexual intercourse with Mr. Mitchell?" Patricia interjects. "Is this necessary?" "It's directly relevant to paternity. I'll rephrase. Mrs. Chen, when did your physical relationship with Mr. Mitchell begin?" Sarah's face is red. "April 30th, Richard makes a note. "That's 6 days before your husband's business trip to Seattle, correct?" "I don't remember. Let me refresh your memory." He slides a calendar across, her calendar, with its tiny dots and initials. "This is yours, correct?" "Yes." "Can you explain what the dots represent?" Silence. "Mrs. Chen?" "They're reminders." "Reminders for what?" "Personal things." "Personal things like when you were ovulating?" Richard taps a specific page. "These dots correspond to your peak fertility windows. The initials DM appear on dates that align with documented encounters with Derek Mitchell. Would you like to revise your answer about whether this was planned?" Patricia stands. "This is harassment. This is evidence. Sit down." Richard doesn't look at her. "Mrs. Chen, did you track your ovulation to maximize the chances of becoming pregnant with Mr. Mitchell's child?" We were trying to have a baby." "You and your husband were trying. You and Mr. Mitchell were succeeding. Those are two different things." The court reporter's fingers fly, every word immortalized in the official record. Richard pulls out the next document. "Let's talk about finances. You charged $8,200 to joint credit cards over 4 months. Hotels in 3 different cities, dinners, gifts, all while your husband was traveling for work. Did you tell him about these expenses?" "They were business." "You're a teacher, Mrs. Chen. What business were you conducting at the Four Seasons?" She's crying now. Patricia hands her tissues. "Let's move on," Richard says. "No mercy. This is your mother's handwriting, correct?" He shows her the legal pad. Sarah's face goes white. "I've never seen that." "Your mother testified in her deposition that she showed it to you. In fact, she showed it to you before introducing you to Mr. Mitchell. Would you like to revise your answer?" Silence. "For the record, Mrs. Chen is declining to answer." Richard turns a page. "This document shows your husband's name with multiple metrics: height, education, income, health history, all crossed out in red. Below it, Derek Mitchell's information, circled. Did your mother discuss these ratings with you?" She wanted what was best. "What was best for whom? You, the potential child? Certainly not your husband." Richard slides the final document across. DNA test results. Probability of paternity for David Chen, 0%. Probability of paternity for Derek Mitchell, 99 to 97%. This baby is not your husband's, correct? Correct. Barely a whisper. Did you know that when you announced the pregnancy? I suspected. Did you know? Yes. Louder now. Defiant. Yes, I knew. And you intended for your husband to believe he was the father? I thought he'd love it anyway. You thought wrong. Richard gathers the papers. Let me read something to you. These are text messages between you and Mr. Mitchell, dated July 23rd. He reads, voice clinical. Sarah, he's already talking about baby names, LOL. David, should we tell him it's mine or keep the wallet around? Sarah, let's keep him guessing. It's more fun that way. The court reporter's typing stops for a second. Even she's shocked. "Did you write those messages, Mrs. Chen?" Sarah's face is buried in her hands. Patricia's whispering urgently in her ear. "Mrs. Chen?" "Yes," voice muffled. "Yes, I wrote them. So to be clear, you and Mr. Mitchell joked about deceiving your husband, about keeping him as a wallet, about making him believe he was the father of a child you knew was not his. It wasn't like that. It's exactly like that. We have 4 months of similar messages. Would you like me to read more?" "No." "Then let's move to the final question." Her lawyer asked if I'd reconsider for the child's sake. I read the conception date out loud. August 3rd, 2024. Your husband was in Phoenix. You were at your mother's vacation house with Derek Mitchell. Do you dispute these facts? No. Thank you, Mrs. Chen. No further questions. I meet Derek Mitchell in a public parking lot. Neutral territory. Mike insists on coming, standing 20 feet away with his phone out, recording. Derek is exactly as handsome as his photos. Tall, confident smile, expensive suit. He looks like someone who wins at life without trying. "David!" He extends his hand. I don't take it. "Let's skip the pleasantries," I say. "I know you're the father. Sarah knows. Everyone knows. I'm not here to fight. I'm here for information." He lowers his hand. "What do you want to know? Did you know she was married when you started sleeping with her?" "Yes." The honesty catches me off guard. "And you didn't care?" "She told me you had an arrangement, open marriage, that you knew and approved." He leans against his car. "Look, I'm not proud of this, but Sarah said you guys were basically roommates, that the marriage was already over." "An arrangement?" "That's what she said." I laugh. It's not a happy sound. "Did she show you the fertility clinic bills? The calendar where I marked days to try? The nursery I was building?" His smile falters. "What?" "She lied to you too, Derek. There was no arrangement, no open marriage, just a wife who wanted your genetics in my bank account." He's pale now. "That's not," she said. "Let me guess. She said I was emotionally unavailable, worked too much, didn't want kids." "All of the above. I've wanted kids since we got married. Spent 3 years and $40,000 on fertility treatments. I was building a crib when I found out she was pregnant with your baby." I pull out my phone, show him the text screenshots. "She called me the wallet. You called me the safety net. Remember?" He reads. His face goes from confused to horrified. Jesus Christ, I didn't know." "Now you do." He's pacing now, running his hands through his hair. "She played us both. She played everyone. Her mother helped, made a spreadsheet, rated us like livestock, selected you for your genetics, facilitated the whole thing." "Her mother?" He stops. "The woman who introduced us at that fundraiser? That's the one. You were candidate number 7. I was crossed out in red." He laughed and said, "She told me you knew and approved." That's when I realized she'd lied to everyone. The settlement meeting happens on a Tuesday. Sarah's 8 months pregnant now, moving slowly, one hand always on her back. She looks tired, worn, like lying takes more energy than she has left. Patricia slides a folder across the conference table. "My client is prepared to make a generous offer." Richard opens it, scans the pages, his eyebrows rise. "Generous?" he says. "She keeps the house, the car, and 60% of marital assets. He pays her legal fees and agrees to no contact regarding the child. In exchange, she won't pursue alimony." He looks up. "That's not generous. That's delusional. My client is about to be a single mother. Your client committed adultery and fraud. She's lucky we're not pursuing criminal charges." "Criminal?" Patricia laughs. "That's a reach." Richard pulls out another document. "Forgery is a crime. Let me show you something interesting." He slides a paper across. It's a birth certificate, pre-filled. Baby's name, Olivia Chen. Mother, Sarah Chen. Father, David Chen. My name is there, in the father field, signed, except I didn't sign it. Where did you get that? Patricia's voice is sharp. Discovery. It was in your client's files, dated 3 weeks from now, before the baby is even born. Richard points to the signature line. That's not David's signature. We had a handwriting expert compare it. It's your client's attempt at forgery. She practiced on the margins. You can see the trial runs here. He's right. In the margins of the page, there are 4 or 5 versions of my name in Sarah's handwriting, each one slightly different, getting closer to my actual signature. I feel sick. She was going to file this, Richard says. Put David's name on the birth certificate without his knowledge or consent. Establish legal paternity through fraud, then claim he abandoned his child when he refused to be involved. Patricia looks at Sarah. I just wanted... Sarah's crying again, always crying. I just wanted my baby to have a father. She wanted financial security, Richard corrects. Child support payments for 18 years from a man who isn't biologically related to the child. That's fraud. That's a felony. We'll withdraw the offer, Patricia says quickly. Too late. We're filing a motion to submit this as evidence of ongoing deception. The judge will see exactly what kind of person your client is. You can't watch me. She slid divorce papers across, with my name already on the birth certificate. The emergency hearing is scheduled for Friday. Sarah's lawyer tries to suppress the birth certificate evidence. Fails. The judge wants to see everything. Judge Morrison is a woman in her 60s, reading glasses perched on her nose, no nonsense expression. She's seen it all. Nothing surprises her anymore, except this. She reads through the evidence packet in silence. The texts, the calendar, the mother-in-law's notes, the DNA test, and finally the forged birth certificate with its practice signatures in the margins. Mrs. Chen, she says, voice cold, approach the bench. Sarah stands awkwardly, belly preceding her. Patricia follows. Is this your handwriting? Judge Morrison holds up the birth certificate. I can explain, yes or no. Yes, but... And did you intend to file this document with your husband's name forged in the father field? Sarah looks at Patricia. Patricia nods slightly. I just wanted my baby to have a father, Sarah says, voice small, rehearsed. Your baby has a father, Derek Mitchell. DNA proves it. The judge sets the paper down. What you wanted was to commit fraud, to establish false paternity so you could extract child support from a man who owes you nothing. Your Honor, my client was emotionally distraught. Your client was criminally calculating. Judge Morrison looks at me. Mr. Chen, do you wish to pursue criminal charges? The room goes silent. Everyone's looking at me. Sarah's face is white. Patricia's hand is on her arm. I could destroy her, really destroy her. Criminal record, possible jail time, public humiliation beyond anything she's experienced. But I'm so tired. No, I say. I just want the divorce finalized. I want her and her family out of my life. That's all. The judge nods. Understandable. Mrs. Chen, consider yourself fortunate. This document alone could result in felony charges. The fact that Mr. Chen is declining to press charges speaks to his character, not yours. She signs something. Divorce granted. No alimony. Assets split 50-50 minus the $8,200 Mrs. Chen stole from joint accounts. Mr. Chen is not the legal father and has no financial or custodial obligations. Birth certificate shall list Derek Mitchell as father. Is all this clear? Yes, Your Honor, Richard says. Patricia just nods. Sarah is sobbing. One more thing. Judge Morrison looks directly at Sarah. If you or anyone acting on your behalf contacts Mr. Chen, harasses him, defames him, or makes any further attempts at fraud, I will personally file charges. Are we clear? Yes, Your Honor. The gavel comes down. Marriage over. 37 minutes from start to finish. 5 years reduced to a legal decree and a file number. The judge looked at the forged signature and said, "This is criminal." Sarah tries to talk to me in the parking lot. I'm loading boxes into my car, the last of my things from the house. Our house, my house. The house I'm selling, because I can't stand to live in the same space where she planned my betrayal. David, wait. I keep loading. Box of books, box of tools, box of kitchen stuff she never used. Please, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I know. Can I explain? I close the trunk, turn to face her. She's huge now, belly stretching her maternity dress, face swollen from crying and pregnancy. She looks miserable. There's nothing to explain, Sarah. I've read your texts, seen your calendar, listened to your mother's philosophy. I know exactly what happened. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I wanted a baby so badly and we were struggling, and your mom said I wasn't good enough, that Derek had better genetics, that you deserved a superior child. The words taste like ash. And you agreed. You tracked your ovulation, scheduled encounters during my business trips, took prenatal vitamins 2 months in advance. This wasn't a mistake, Sarah. This was eugenics. Don't say it like that. How should I say it? That my wife shopped for sperm donors while I was building a nursery. That she laughed about keeping me as the wallet while fucking someone else. I'm not yelling. My voice is steady, calm. That's what makes it worse. You didn't cheat because you were unhappy. You cheated because you thought you could engineer a better baby and trick me into raising it. I thought you'd love her anyway. Maybe I would have. The admission hurts. Maybe I would have loved a child that wasn't mine, because I loved you that much. But you didn't give me that choice. You made it for me. You decided I was good enough to raise a kid, but not good enough to father one. It is exactly that. I unlock my car door. I hope your daughter is healthy. I hope she has Derek's good genetics and your mother's approval. I hope she never finds out that she was conceived as a selective breeding experiment. But most of all, I hope she grows up to be a better person than both of you. David, goodbye, Sarah. I drive away. She's standing in the parking lot, one hand on her belly, watching me leave. In my rearview mirror, she gets smaller and smaller until she's just a dot, then nothing. Her last text comes that night. You'll regret this. I reply, I already do. Marrying you. Then I block her number. Block her mother, block everyone from that family except Rachel. Not negotiable, not forgivable, just done. 3 months later, I'm in my new apartment. Small, 1-bedroom, hardwood floors. A window that gets good morning light. It's not much, but it's mine. No shared memories, no ghosts. Rachel texts, "Can I come by?" She arrives with coffee and pastries from the good bakery downtown. We sit on my couch, the one piece of furniture I've managed to buy so far, and talk. Sarah had the baby, she says. Girl, 7 pounds, healthy. Good, I mean it. I'm glad she's okay. She named her Olivia Mitchell, not Chen. Derek's on the birth certificate. Is he involved? Barely. Shows up every other weekend, pays child support. Sarah's living with mom and dad now. She makes a face. Tense. I bet. Mom's already planning Olivia's future. Private schools, tutoring, enrichment programs. Treating her like a science project. Rachel sips her coffee. I told them I'm not comfortable being around it. The way they talk about genetics and breeding, it's sick. I'm sorry you're caught in the middle. I'm not in the middle. I chose a side. She pulls an envelope from her purse. I wrote you something. I've been working on it for weeks. Just read it later, okay? The envelope is blue stationery, thick, expensive. I can see her careful handwriting through the paper. Rachel, just read it, please. After she leaves, I open it. Dear David, I've started this letter 50 times. Nothing feels adequate. I watched my sister destroy the best man she'll ever know, and I said nothing because she's family. I watched my mother orchestrate it like a business transaction, and I made excuses because that's what we do. We protect each other, even when we're wrong. But you taught me something. Family isn't just blood. It's who shows up when things are hard. It's who tells you the truth, even when it costs them. It's who chooses integrity over convenience. Sarah was my sister. You were my brother-in-law. Past tense, both. Because she stopped being family the moment she betrayed you, and you became something more important. A person who showed me what courage looks like. You could have stayed. A lot of men would have. The pressure was enormous. Family, church, society, everyone telling you to forgive and forget and raise another man's child. And you said no. You drew a line and defended it, even when it cost you everything. That's the bravest thing I've ever seen. My parents ask why I don't come around anymore. I tell them I don't recognize who they are. The people I thought they were wouldn't have done this. Wouldn't have raided you like livestock and found a replacement. Wouldn't have turned my sister into someone who could laugh about betraying her husband. I'm building my own family now. People I choose, not people I'm stuck with. And if you ever need anything, testimony, support, or just someone who remembers who you really are, call me. You deserve better than what my family gave you. You deserve to be someone's first choice, not their safety net. Thank you for showing me what integrity looks like. With love and respect, Rachel, I read it 3 times. Cry on the 4th. Not sad tears, grateful ones. Because she gets it. She sees what this cost, what it meant. She wrote, "You showed me what integrity looks like. Thank you." I can hear my voice cracking as I read it aloud to my empty apartment. 6 months after the divorce, I throw a dinner party. Small, intimate. The people who showed up when everything fell apart. Mike and his wife. My parents. Rachel and her husband. She's pregnant now, glowing, talking about nursery colors. My college roommate who flew in from Boston when he heard. 2 coworkers who became real friends when I needed them most. We crowd into my small apartment. I've bought a table now, mismatched chairs, real dishes. My mother brings her famous dumplings. Rachel brings wine. Mike brings stories that make everyone laugh. It feels like family. We toast to new beginnings, to chosen people, to the difference between who you're born to and who you build with. Speech, Mike says. You have to give a speech. I'm not good at speeches. Too bad. House rules. I stand. Look around at these faces. These people who could have walked away but didn't. A year ago, I thought family meant blood, obligation. People you're stuck with, whether they treat you well or not. I have to pause. Breathe. My ex-wife's family taught me what that kind of loyalty looks like. How it protects the wrong people, enables the worst behavior, turns love into leverage. Rachel reaches over, squeezes my hand. But you... I gesture around the room. You taught me something better. That family is who shows up, who tells you the truth, who stands with you even when it's uncomfortable. My voice cracks. Who chooses you when you can't choose yourself. To chosen family, my dad says, raising his glass. To chosen family, everyone echoes. We eat and laugh and tell stories. Rachel talks about her pregnancy, how different it feels knowing her baby is wanted, planned, celebrated. Mike tells embarrassing college stories. My mom shows baby pictures of me, the kind of normal, loving embarrassment that feels like home. Later, when everyone's leaving, Rachel hangs back. You okay? She asks. Yeah, really okay, actually. I mean it. For the first time in a year, I'm not waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm just... here. Good. You deserve here. She hugs me. Sarah asked about you last week, wanted to know if you're dating. What did you tell her? That it's none of her business, that she made her choice and you made yours. Rachel smiles. But between us, are you? Not yet. Maybe soon. I'm not in a hurry. I walk her to the door. I'm learning to like myself again first. Turns out that takes time. Smart man. She pauses. For what it's worth, you're going to make someone very happy someday. Someone who deserves you. After everyone leaves, I clean up. Wash dishes in my small kitchen. Put away leftovers. Normal, mundane tasks that feel sacred somehow. This is my life now. Small, simple, mine. I find the evidence box in my closet, the one Richard gave me after the divorce finalized. Everything inside, the pregnancy test, the forged birth certificate, the calendar, the texts printed out, the DNA results. A museum of betrayal. I take it to the dumpster behind my building, stand there holding it for a long moment. Then I let it go. The box falls, lid opens, contents spilling. I can see the pregnancy test on top, that white plastic stick with its 2 pink lines that started everything. Some people see a positive result. I see a negative relationship. I walk back inside, lock the door, look around my small apartment with its mismatched furniture and its empty walls and its total absence of lies. And I smile. 1 year after the divorce, I get a promotion. Regional director, bigger salary, corner office. The kind of success Sarah's mother said I'd never achieve because I was adequate, not exceptional. I celebrate by buying art from my apartment, real art from a local gallery, a painting of a sunrise over water, new beginnings, cheesy but true. My new calendar hangs on the kitchen wall, blank except for important dates, Rachel's baby shower, Mike's birthday, dinner with my parents, a weekend trip I'm planning with friends. At the bottom of September 15th, I write, first day of the rest of my life. Not the divorce date, not the day I found out about the affair, the day after I moved into this apartment, the day I woke up and realized I was free. My phone buzzes. Text from a woman named Jennifer. We matched on a dating app 3 weeks ago, went on 2 coffee dates. She's funny, kind, straightforward, a veterinarian who rescues senior dogs and doesn't play games. Still on for dinner Friday? Found a great Thai place. I text back, absolutely, looking forward to it. No games, no hidden meanings, just honest interest and clear communication. Novel concepts after the labyrinth of my marriage. I'm not in love, not yet. Maybe not for a while, but I'm open. I'm healing. I'm learning to trust my instincts again, the ones that said something was wrong that I ignored for too long. Rachel's baby is born in October, a boy, healthy and loud. She names him Marcus. I visit her in the hospital, bring flowers and a teddy bear wearing a tiny superhero cape. Uncle David, she says, handing him to me. I like the sound of that. I hold this tiny human, wrinkled and perfect and completely unaware of the drama that preceded his arrival. He yawns, grabs my finger with his tiny hand. He's perfect, I say. He is. Rachel's glowing despite the exhaustion. And he's lucky. He'll grow up knowing he was wanted, chosen, that his parents didn't settle. I think about Olivia, Sarah's daughter, Derek's daughter, a child born from a plan instead of love. I hope she's okay. Hope she never feels like a science experiment. Hope Sarah learned something from all this, though I doubt it. But that's not my story anymore. This is holding my nephew, planning dinner with a woman who makes me laugh, living in an apartment that's too small but entirely mine, choosing family instead of accepting it, drawing boundaries and defending them, learning that the opposite of love isn't hate, it's clarity. 2 years after the divorce, I run into Sarah's mother at a coffee shop downtown, completely random. I'm in line, she's picking up a mobile order, our eyes meet. She looks older, smaller somehow. The sharp confidence is gone, replaced by something uncertain. David, Mrs. Palmer, her maiden name. I can't call her anything else. How are you? Good, really good. It's not a lie. She nods, fidgets with her phone. She's struggling. Single motherhood is harder than she thought. I'm sorry to hear that. Derek isn't very involved. And Olivia is... She stops. She's a difficult baby. Colic, doesn't sleep. Sarah thought it would be easier. I don't say anything. There's nothing to say. This isn't my problem to solve. She asks about you sometimes. Wonders if you might. No. The answer is no to whatever you were going to ask. I step forward in line. I have a good life now. I'm dating someone wonderful. I have a nephew I adore. I work with people I respect. I'm happy. And I'm not giving that up to be Sarah's safety net again. She flinches at safety net. Remembers the texts probably. The evidence. The public humiliation when everything came out. We made mistakes, she says quietly. You made choices. There's a difference. You always were stubborn, I laugh. You rated me as adequate on a spreadsheet, picked a replacement based on genetics, and facilitated my wife's affair. And I'm the one with a character flaw? That's not fair. Fair? You wanted good genes. You got a good liar. I wanted a good wife. I became a good ex-husband. That seems pretty fair to me. She leaves without responding. I watch her go, this woman who shaped my life in the worst way possible, and I feel nothing. No anger, no vindication, just indifference. She doesn't matter anymore. 3 years after the divorce, I'm standing in front of my bathroom mirror on a Saturday morning. Jennifer is in the kitchen making coffee. We moved in together 6 months ago, slowly, carefully, with complete transparency about our pasts. She knows everything. I told her on date 4, expecting her to run. Instead, she said, "Thank you for being honest. That must have been hell. I'm glad you got out." No judgment, no weird questions, just acceptance and respect. The pregnancy test sits on my sink. Different test, different woman, different life. But for a moment, I'm transported back 3 years, to Sarah's humming, to the math that didn't add up, to the beginning of everything falling apart. Jennifer knocks softly. "You okay in there?" I pick up the test, look at it. 2 pink lines. But this time, the math works. This time, I know exactly when we conceived, laughing, happy together. This time, there's no calendar to check, no travel schedule to verify, no suspicious dots with someone else's initials. Just us. Clear communication, complete honesty. Love built on truth instead of lies. I open the door. She's standing there in my old college t-shirt, hair messy, face hopeful and nervous. "Well?" she asks. Positive. She bursts into tears. Happy ones. "Really?" "Really." I show her the test. "We're having a baby." She kisses me. We're both crying now, laughing, holding each other in our small bathroom, while coffee brews in the kitchen and morning light streams through the window. "I'm going to be a dad," I say. "You're going to be an amazing dad." She pulls back, looks at me seriously. "Are you okay? I know this has to bring up. I'm okay. This is different. You're different. We're different. I mean it. This baby is wanted, planned, ours. That changes everything." She rests her forehead against mine. "I love you. I love you too." And I do. Not the desperate, clinging love of my marriage. Not the kind that ignores red flags and accepts betrayal, but something solid, built on honesty, on respect, on choosing each other every day. Some tests reveal more than biology. They reveal character. The baby is born in spring, a boy. We name him Marcus, after Rachel's son, my nephew, who made me believe in family again. Mike and his family are there, my parents crying with joy. Rachel with her Marcus, now 4 years old, excited to meet his cousin. Jennifer's family, welcoming me like I've always belonged. We're crowded in the hospital room, passing this tiny human around, marveling at his fingers and toes, and perfect little face. "He looks like you," Rachel says. "Poor kid," Mike jokes. Everyone laughs. Normal family teasing, the kind that's wrapped in love instead of manipulation. My mom holds her grandson, humming softly. My dad takes 1,000,000 photos. Jennifer's parents plan their next visit. Mike's kids fight over who gets to hold him next. This is what family looks like. Not perfect. Not some genetically optimized eugenics experiment. Just people who show up. who choose each other, who build something real instead of something calculated. Jennifer's next to me, exhausted and radiant. "Thank you," she whispers. "For what?" "For being you, for choosing me, for letting yourself be happy again." I kiss her forehead. "Thank you for waiting while I figured out how." That night, after everyone leaves, I'm alone with my son for the first time. Jennifer's sleeping. The nurses have shown me how to hold him, how to change him, how to recognize his different cries. He's awake, staring at me with those unfocused newborn eyes. I hold him close, breathe in that specific baby smell. "Hey, buddy," I whisper. "I'm your dad. I'm gonna mess this up sometimes. I'm gonna worry too much and probably be overprotective. But I'm going to love you every single day. Not because I have to, not because someone told me to, but because you're mine. Actually mine." He yawns, makes a little noise, falls asleep in my arms. I think about Olivia, 4 years old now, growing up in Sarah's house with her grandmother's expectations and her mother's regrets. I hope she's happy. I hope she doesn't feel the weight of being someone's genetic optimization project. But mostly, I just feel grateful. For this baby. For Jennifer. For the family I chose and the family who chose me back. For learning the difference between staying and standing. Between forgiveness and boundaries. Between what's expected and what's right. I lost a wife. I gained myself. 5 years after the divorce, I'm cleaning out my desk at work. Another promotion, bigger office. I find an old photo tucked in a drawer. Me and Sarah on our wedding day. Young, smiling, hopeful. I stare at it for a long time. Try to remember what it felt like to be that version of me. The one who trusted completely, who ignored his instincts, who thought love meant accepting anything. Jennifer walks in. "Moving day, you need..." She stops, sees the photo. "Is that her?" "Yeah, found it in the drawer. Must have been here for years." She comes closer, studies the photo. "You look happy." "I thought I was. I didn't know what happy actually felt like yet." "And now?" "Now I do." I put the photo face down on the desk. "Want to grab lunch? I'm starving." "Always." She links her arm through mine. "Marcus's daycare called. Apparently he told everyone his dad is a superhero." "He did?" "Yep. You fight bad guys with your words and wear a tie instead of a cape." She grins. His words, not mine. I laugh, real, genuine laughter, the kind that comes from a life built on truth instead of lies. We leave the photo on the desk. Someone else can throw it away. It's not my story anymore. My story is a 4-year-old who thinks I'm a superhero, a partner who chose me knowing all my scars, parents who stood by me when the world said I was wrong, a sister-in-law who became a sister by choice, friends who showed up without being asked, a family I built instead of one I was born into, and somewhere in my apartment, in a frame on the wall, is Rachel's letter, the one that says, "You showed me what integrity looks like. Thank you for showing me what courage looks like." That's the story I want to tell. Not the betrayal, not the pain, not the genetics-obsessed mother-in-law, or the forged birth certificate, or the 4 months of calculated lies, but the part that came after, when I chose myself, when I drew a line and defended it, when I learned that family isn't who you're born to, it's who shows up when you need them most. I lost a biological family, but I gained something better, a chosen one, and that, in the end, makes all the difference. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. This was the hardest story I've ever told, but also the most important one. Because somewhere out there, someone is in the middle of their own nightmare. Someone is being told to forgive the unforgivable. Someone is being pressured to sacrifice their dignity for family. And I want them to know it's okay to leave. It's okay to choose yourself. It's okay to demand better than what you're being offered. Family is who shows up. Who tells the truth? Who stands with you even when it costs them something? So here's my challenge. In the comments, share one person who's been your real family, someone who chose you, not someone obligated to. Tag them if they're here. Let's build a thread of people who understand that love is a choice, not a contract. And if you're in the middle of your own story right now, if you're holding evidence of betrayal and wondering if you're overreacting, trust your gut. You're not crazy. You're not too sensitive. You're not asking for too much. Boundaries aren't cruel. They're survival. Thank you for being here, for listening, for understanding that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is walk away. If you want to hear what happened when Sarah showed up at my door last year with Olivia, asking for help, that's a story for another time. Subscribe, hit that bell, and I'll see you next week.